Have you ever felt completely burnt out, exhausted, or just stuck? Like you're dragging yourself through a jungle with no end in sight? The truth is, you might be using the wrong compass. Hi, I'm Michael from Higher Wellness, and over the years I've worked with hundreds of people who thought they were lazy, unmotivated, or broken. But really, their deepest stress came from being out of alignment with their core values. And I was too. Back when I was 21, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. As I was recovering, the doctor said there was a chance that I could never walk again. Tried to deal with all my pain through terrible coping mechanisms. Nothing really worked. As I was recovering, I got offered my dream corporate job in London. I thought I had hit the jackpot. But not really long after starting the job, I started to feel burnt out. Not only was I trying to recover from my autoimmune disease, but I was trying to deal with burnout. So today, I'm going to guide you through a step-by-step activity, one that I've used personally and that I teach to others, and help you find what your true compass is. The one that points you to fulfillment, energy, and clarity. Because most people think that they're crazy or lazy, but it's just misalignment. And if you're needing support, I do offer one-on-one private coaching. So click the link below or reach out to me directly if that's something that sounds good to you. Because it's important to make sure that we understand what our values are and why they matter, so that we can move forward in that direction. Life is like a small dinghy out in the open ocean. When it's calm, clear skies, and no wind, everything's great. But as soon as things get dark, pulling out the oars and pointing the boat in a certain direction, even if it's not the right direction, the only way to move forward. Because if you're using a broken compass and not using any oars, you won't be able to get anywhere that you want. The only way through this is with action. To start with, we need to understand what values are. Values are the core principles and beliefs that guide your sense of direction, action, and meaning. When you have a true set of values that you abide by and stick to, these not only shape what you do, but they also help you prioritize your time, figure out what's worth your energy and what's not, and allow you to restrict your choices to things that actually matter. When your actions align with your values, you feel motivated, energized, and fulfilled. When your actions don't align with your values, you feel lost, stressed, and burnt out. Like following a map, you know deep down is wrong. You need to make sure that your actions align with what you choose. And every single time you act on it, you put a token towards who you are, what you value, and what you identify as. When I was working my dream job, I thought I was going to be creative, have freedom and flexibility, but really, I was pointing my compass in the wrong direction. It was leading me down corporate life, a life that was full of stress, burnout, long hours, and no time for myself. What I wanted and valued didn't show in my actions. Not only for my professional life, but my personal life too. I thought of myself as honest and true, somebody who respected themselves, but my actions said otherwise. I'd say no when I wanted to say yes. I say yes when I wanted to say no. I was people pleasing, not putting myself first, dragging myself slowly under the water. The idea is not to be perfect, but to make sure that we limit the amount of times that we limit our values to really rare circumstances. Sometimes saying yes when we mean no might be good, but if we continue with it, it only deteriorates us. Similar to being in a state of stress. Some stress is good, but when we're in a prolonged state of stress, it stops the ability for growth. We need to make sure that we put ourselves back into that rest and digest. When our values misalign, they can cause burnout. The values that we choose not only affect us physically, but psychologically as well. When your behaviors contradict what your values are and what you truly care about, that little voice in the back of your head starts speaking a little bit louder, trying to get your attention, trying to change course. This affects us not only psychologically, but physically. The more we keep this up, the more exhausted we become, and the higher the stress hormone rises. All the normal functionings of your body get put on the back burner to deal with whatever task is at hand. But for so many of us, when we choose to do an action that doesn't align with our values, it makes us feel unworthy, unfulfilled. Despite working hard, we can never break through that. For example, you might be somebody who really enjoys connection, but your role, your job, and where you live might hinder that. You might be stuck in a lonely or competitive environment. Or you might be somebody who prioritizes growth or values learning. But if your actions and what you do day in and day out is repetitive and monotonous, your physical body and psychological mind will revolt. So if your compass is pointing in a direction you don't want to go, no wonder you don't feel enthusiastic or fulfilled in what you do. But how do you know that's the case? And how do you fix it? So I'm going to give you this really effective tool that I use on myself and I use with my clients. It's simple but transformative. It'll allow you to sort step by step the values that you think are your priority. Feel free to do this on your notes app, on your iPad, on your phone, but I really do invite you to do this on a piece of paper. I want you to take a second to look at all the values that are on the screen now. See what align with you, list them on the piece of paper. I want you to pick the ones that resonate with you, the ones that call out to you. Write them down. I'll give you some time to review. Next step is I want you to narrow it down. Pick the top 10, the ones that stand out above the rest, the non-negotiables. Now we're going to prioritize. I want you to rank them from first to 10th. The next step is narrowing it even more. I want you to pick out your top 5. Maybe you have to do a bit of a reshuffle. These are your top 5 compass points. The next is reflection. Write each value and what it means to you and why. What would it look like if every value was fully honored in your life? What would it look like if you possessed none of these values? Take a second to review if the values that you prioritized are the ones that you're actually using and living. Are your daily actions and choices aligned with these values? After you've gone through each of these values, express what they mean to you and the depth that they possess. I want you to make sure that these are top of mind moving forward. You need to use these core values as your compass. You need to use them to filter decisions, career choices, relationships, and daily habits. Over the next 7 days, I want you to make sure that every decision you make, every action, everything that you do aligns with these values. Take a step back and ask the question every single time something comes in. Try to experiment with these. See where the shifts occur. Try setting some boundaries. If saying yes compromises a value, then say no. If you can't associate any time with these values, maybe try to incorporate a new set of activities, new rituals, new habits that align with these values. Because when your actions align with your values, you live a life that's clearer, less stressed, and less burnt out. Because this clarity and alignment is like following a compass that actually works. And if we can keep on top of this, keep the consistency over the span of days, weeks, and months, not only will your actions be different, but your values will be what you are. We need to make sure we're consistent with these. So quickly to recap, make sure you remember that values are your internal compass. Misalignment with these values cause stress and burnout. Figuring out what your 5 top values are is vitally important so that your actions can change to support them. And making sure the actions you do daily align with these values will make you feeling lighter, calmer, less stressed, and less burnt out. And if you feel like you're struggling with this activity, you're not too sure what the next steps are, feel free to reach out to me directly. I do offer one-on-one support. You can click that link below because I'm here to support you, to help you action goals, habits, values that support who you are, what you want to do, and what you want to achieve. Because this is exactly what I wanted when I was sick and in need, but I was too afraid to ask for help. And since you're clear on the values that you need and the actions that you want to take, you can watch this next video where I go over how to implement positive change and habits into your daily life with this goal setting activity. Give it a click here.